Testing. How is my sound quality? Hopefully it is okay. So excited. Hello friends. It has been literally forever since we last caught up, since I gave any updates. Biggest update, I got a job, a full-time job that I'm working in Philly, which I'm very excited for. Today is actually my first day of going to events in Philly, which I'm really excited for. I'm gonna go to an archival event at the public library in Philly. And then tonight I have the first night of the queer book club at the Giovanni's room. Okay, I'm stumbling so much. It's been a while, y'all. It's been a while. Yes, I'm doing a book club. We read Sula this month and I'm gonna go and I'm so excited. So I figured I would actually vlog it today because I want to remember this moment and maybe you're curious about what I've been up to. So that's what we're gonna do. Come along, I'm excited. So I'm at Westmount Station. I am still living in the burbs and still living with my parents because I'm shopping neighborhoods in Philly and I'll probably be making a move there this fall. We just actually got a list of questions for what we will be talking about tonight at the Sula book club. I have to look over the questions and I'll give you a little summary. Look how dreary New Jersey looks today. Dreary as heck. So I got this really beat up copy of Sula from my college library and it looks so used up. And it's funny because inside of the book as well, there's so many annotations. So I really didn't feel like this reread was done on my own. It feels like it was done in tandem with the other people who were reading this book. It was fun reading this book again because I got to fight with the people in the book. I don't agree with that. It really felt like a book club in itself, just reading people's old annotations. And yes, I got it and I'm excited to read. When I looked over the questions, a lot of them centered on queering the narrative of Sula. So they talk about a quote from Black Feminist Critique where the author talks about how Sula is an inherently lesbian novel, which is really interesting. There's some questions on there about how do you feel about Nell? How do you feel about Sula? Are you on anyone's side? Which I love. I'm always curious, if I'm being honest, whenever I go to book clubs and public spaces, I'm always curious who will show up. I know it'll be queer people, but racially I'm always curious. My question is, will I be the only Black one? No, I'm always curious about it. It definitely does influence the conversation depending on who's there. But, I'm going to show up and talk and enjoy myself. So I'm really, really excited for that. Also, I wanted to say this reread. So I first read Sula when I was maybe 21. I am 32 now. So as a dinosaur who has learned a lot of lessons and lived a lot more life, I definitely understand this book a lot more the second time around. I was so taken with how Sula is not supposed to be a role model. She's just supposed to be an example of what freedom looks like. How Black women are penalized for being free and doing what they want. And I find it interesting because I find that some of the biggest critiques that I hear about Sula's character comes from other Black people. And I think about how many of us struggle with respectability politics and feeling there's one usually Christian-centered morality, and how people put those same values onto Sula, and the people in the community put those values onto Sula as well. But I also find it interesting that, spoiler alert, when Sula dies, everything falls to shit. The town goes away, the culture really goes. So the people who live free are the people who build culture. And I think we see that from queer folks, and we see that from people of color and people who are doing things differently and living outside of hegemony and heteronormativity. I definitely see that in this book this second time around, and it makes me think about how I would like to live more free. I do not agree with everything Sula did in this book, obviously, but it was something I was thinking about as I was reading this time around. Who am I to judge Sula, and why is it so easy to quickly judge people, specifically Black women, and especially Black women, who are just trying to live freely. That's what I thought this sort of time around, but I'm excited for the book club, and I'm excited to see what happens today. So, yes. I'm gonna go to this, like, it's like an Asian food hall. I always go there because it's across from Barnes & Noble. It's a really good place to work. It's quiet and you can get boba and food. So I'm gonna sit there and do some work for a little bit, and then I'm gonna return some books to the library and then start all the events I'm going to. I would love to take a tour of this building one day, of City Hall, but I'm so curious about the architecture on the outside and like what it all means, but another video. But yes, let us walk there and get food finally and boba and get some work done. Okay, so only the like OG Philly people know this, but there used to be a Barnes & Noble like facing Rittenhouse Square that was beautiful. Also, look at my glasses fogging. It's so hot up here. Now that I am situated, I can show you what I got for my food. I showed you on the screen, but let me like show you in depth. So I got peach milk tea, cute. Also, if you notice, I just decided to take off my little press-on nails. I need to get back into acrylic, but like, if I'm being honest, I just haven't had the time or the interest in like sitting there for that long. Press-ons are very like quick and you just like go about your life. So this is the first one, peach milk tea, and I got double boba, of course. It comes with a side of miso soup, which I'm excited for, which I'll show you. And then also this bulgogi beef, which is spicy, which you know is my thing. So I'm gonna open it up and show you what it looks like. Oh my God, and it's steaming, child. It looks so good. I'm so excited. And let me show you what the soup looks like. Whoops. This is the soup. So yeah, let's try some of this stuff. Yummy. I must do some work, but before I do, I'm just gonna take a little taste of everything. Should I start with the food or with the boba? I guess I'll do with the boba because, you know, that's what I'm most looking forward to, if we being real. So peach milk tea, double boba, and this is Sauca. I've never, Saucha, I think is how it's pronounced. And it's right in Rittenhouse Square at Asian Food Hall. It's really good. My only wish is that it was less sweet. I literally did 50% sugar, but boba is just always too like sweet. So okay, I'm gonna try a little piece of beef from the beef like spicy rice bowl. Oh, it's so good. So I came to the library for this Women's History Month archive event, and it's not here, I don't think. But I saw it on Instagram. It was like an event like 4 to 6, and they were gonna like open up the archive so you could see like things from women's history, and then I just like lost it, I guess. I don't know. And I can't find the event on Instagram. But that's okay, because I have the book club in a few hours, so I'm just gonna like walk around the library and explore and then go to the book club. I'm just gonna do that instead, but crazy. I could have sworn it was here. This is like what my brain is like now that I'm like working full time. So forgetful because it's just filled with like so much stuff. But that's okay. I'm gonna walk around the library and then go to Sula, which I'm so excited for. So should be fun. The way I spend most of my time in either horror or LGBTQ. I'm not gonna lie, usually when I'm looking for books in the horror section, I'm looking for women, I'm looking for Black women, I'm looking for Black people. So I usually gravitate towards familiar names, but there are some like interesting books I've read over here that doesn't fall into that. I once picked up Dracul. I picked it up a few months ago, and whoa, that book blew my mind. That book is like one of the best horror books I've ever read. I was gonna say one of the best books I've ever read, but definitely one of the best like horror books. So yeah, I'd love to get out of my comfort zone, but I usually stick with women, people of color. And you know, horror, especially his selection here, is so white male heavy, which isn't a bad thing because Dracul was by two white guys. But yeah, I'm looking for diverse always. I've been here quite a few times at this point, but this is the first time I found where science fiction and fantasy is, so that's an improvement. It's on the second floor. Good to know. But yes, I'm looking through. I still haven't seen anything that's like really caught my eye. So I did end up getting books at the library, of course. The first is Wild Seed by Octavia Butler. I've read a lot of Octavia Butler's books and series, but this is the one series I have not started. Patternist, yeah, the Patternist series. I haven't read any of them, so I'm excited to read it. And she's brilliant, so I know it'll be great. I got Blackheart by Nalo Hopkinson. I have no idea what this is about, but I adore Nalo Hopkinson. She wrote one of my favorite books, which is called Skinful, and she's a Caribbean author, and she's just wildly talented. And I wish that she was like more on people's radar. Like, people don't talk about her, but yeah, she's just so talented and great. And I have no idea what this is about, but I see Black, I see Indigenous, I see Nalo Hopkinson. I pick it up. I got The Conductors by Nicole Glover. I also don't know what this is about, but it's about conductors on the Underground Railroad. So I'm excited to read this one. Wasn't there a Netflix series also about this? I'm not sure. Thank you. I'm not sure. I think there was like a series. Was it Amazon Prime or something? But yeah, so I'm excited to read that. And then finally, Heartless by Gail Carriger. We went to a like speech by Gail Carriger, and she was just really funny and really like dope. She just seemed awesome, so I figured this would be good. And I started reading a little bit of it, and I was like laughing, and it was funny. So I thought this could be like a good addition. So yes, so these are the 4 books that I got. And now I'm going to eat a little something and then go to my event. But yes, those are the books that I got, and I'm excited to go and talk about Sula very soon.
Room and just see what people are thinking. So I will go first, and then we'll just.
So I got out of book club, and it was so generative and interesting and fun, honestly, just discussing this book, even though the concept, of course, are very intense. But yeah, it was a good time. I'm about to go sit at a tea house that I really, really love, and write for a bit. And yeah, I have been walking all day. Like, I took the train once, and I have walked this whole Center City area like all day. It has been such a good day. And yeah, I'm excited to sit and rest and do some writing, which I will talk about. So let's go. This cake looks so good. Oh my God. So this is passion fruit milk foam tea. And this is a green tea crepe cake, of course. I also got this with 30% sugar because Boba be trying to take me out. And low-key, half the time I like when it's not that sweet. So yes, looks so good. Here goes. I'm talking a little quieter because there's like no one here except for one table, and I'm alone, so you know, I feel sort of awkward. But I wanted to talk about this book club tonight. So the book club took place at Giovanni's room. She's the oldest LGBTQ bookstore in the US, the oldest still active one, I think they say. And when I arrived, it was pretty crazy because it was very busy. There was if you've ever been in Giovanni's room, it's 2 floors, and there were a row of chairs, or like a circle of chairs on the second floor, but all of those seats were taken, and it was standing room only, essentially. And basically, the way that they do the book club is everybody sitting in various circles. Like, so you find like a little pocket of like 5-6 people, and you just discuss the book with whoever is like around. And so it wasn't very well, it was diverse. There were some people of color, but it was pretty, like, you know, it was pretty white, which, you know, is, yeah, which isn't a bad thing. I didn't expect processing the book with other, mostly like white people, was very interesting because I had a different take on a lot of things, and not in a bad way. I actually really appreciated how open and free-flowing the conversation was despite our differences. And I talked a lot about disability and suicidality and neurodivergence in this book because those are the topics that on a reread really stuck out to me in Sula. Let's do a quick taste test. 30% sugar. Whoa. 30% sugar is like what drinks should taste like. I don't even understand 100% sugar for boba, but anyways, it's very good. The points that I brought up mostly had to do with those things: disability, neurodivergence, mad people, and mad culture. It had to do with generational trauma, so I talked a lot about that. The other folks in the club, it was interesting, or the other folks in my circle talked a lot about how Sula is like a lesbian novel. I didn't see it, like, or I wasn't able to articulate it, but when we talked about it, I was like, yeah, I could see that. Like, the way the women in the book are the actors and the men are just there. The white people even are just there. They're like a part of the environment in the book. But the people, the actors, the people who are making decisions, the people who the main characters mirror themselves off, get their definitions from, are all Black women, which I sort of like love. And so in that way, by the end, I was thinking of it as a Black lesbian separatist novel, if we're doing a queer theory reading of it. It was one moment, it was funny. So we talked in individual groups, and then we came back together as a larger group. And in the larger group, this one girl said a comment that, like, she was like, I didn't like Sula, which is fair. I didn't like Sula. I didn't understand her. I was a little afraid of her. I was like, what do we mean? Explain yourself. She was like, I was a little afraid of her. And then she said something that I just really didn't agree with. She said, Sula is very directionless. And I was like, no, I don't think that at all. And I said that. Like, I was like, yeah, so I actually would disagree with that. And I cited my sources. I cited a passage in which Sula talks about having sex, and how after sex she loves that moment directly after sex because it's where she communes with herself, which once again shows that she is like defining herself. It really has little else to do with anybody else. And I think that's why so many people vilify her, because they are used to Black women who are caretakers. So I think Sula confuses people because she goes against a lot of the ways that we teach Black women to be helpful. But she also said Sula has no joy, and I was like, I don't know if I agree with that. I think joy really isn't the point. I think satisfaction is the point for Sula. Like, she just needs to feel like she's making decisions for herself. She's free to do what she wants, and there's satisfaction in that, even if there's not like traditional joy. And joy also means happiness despite circumstance. And I don't think happiness is what she's going for. Once again, satisfaction, self-direction. Is this a decision that makes me feel good? Is basically like her whole thing. And so I said that. And I also said that I don't agree that Sula is directionless. I would say actually that Sula is one of the most deliberate characters I know, in that she is just so deliberate. Like, she's deliberate about who she spends time with. She's deliberate about how she shows up. And I think she says it perfectly when she says, I love my own dirt. Like, Nell tries to put her shame on her, and she says, I love my dirt. Like, so she knows what she's doing. I would say she's not directionless. And if I'm being honest, not to punch down on this girl, but if I'm being honest, when she said that, I was like, I never want to assume people's ability, status, or anything. But to call somebody directionless because you don't understand their decision making feels a little ableist, just a little ableist. Because Sula, to me, is a person with acquired neurodivergence. She's a person with complex trauma. People with complex trauma tend to make decisions that feel directionless to other people, but actually they're making decisions that are very informed by their generational trauma, by their childhoods. And so, yeah, so I struggled with that one point, and I was glad that I said something. And yeah, overall, it was a fantastic conversation. I'm still shopping book clubs in the Philly area, so I don't know if this will be a book club that I stick with or a book club that I don't. But I really enjoyed like talking just in a group of people, just being like, for a long time, I was running my own business the past year, and it was really part-time, and I was looking for full-time work. So for a long time, I like was in the house and I was saving money and not having money and things like that. And so it was cool to like go to a space and to feel a part of the space and to connect with new people, who I may see again or who I may not. And yeah, I want more moments like that. And so I am prepping to go to some other Philadelphia book clubs. I have like a buddy read book club with one of my friends as well, from my Chicago days. So it really feels like I'm in a place where I'm like building what I want life to look like. And I know some of that will take off when I officially move to Philly. But until then, I get to just like explore and try new things and meet new people and see where I'd like to carve out my community. So today was so good. So yeah, so now I'm going to write. I am writing a novel. I've been writing a novel for a few months now, and I'm obsessed with it. And talking today about Sula and characters with mental illness made me think of my novel. So I was like, I am inspired to write. So I'm going to be doing that for the rest of the time that I'm here, and then I'm gonna head on home. But thank you for watching this vlog. Before I leave, let's try this green tea cake because it looks so good. And I also like green tea cakes because they're never that sweet, but I've never had it from here before. So let's see. Yeah. I love Asian desserts because they're not sweet. They're sweet, but like lightly, like not in like the crazy ways that like, oh, it's so good. Okay. So yeah, so I'm gonna sit here, I'm gonna eat, I'm gonna write, and yeah, I'll talk to you soon. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Thanks for following along even as I figure out life. I'm always figuring out life. And I hope to do more in the future, especially as I have some upcoming travels. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.